Go ahead. Come on. Put too much ether in it. Hey, welcome back to the channel. We're here today looking at this International. If y'all watch Hank's channel, which I'm sure most of you do, you'll see in the junkyard video, we walked around out here. You probably recognize some of that stuff. We walked around out here and looked at it, and I've come back today to see if we can get this thing to crank, see what it'll do. It's International, like I said. I'm not familiar with these or the size of them. It's a S something. But it's not in bad shape. Been sitting a while. There's no telling how long. But we're gonna see what this thing will do. This is the time of year you really have to watch for wasps. It is a beautiful day out here today, probably 80 degrees here in South Alabama. I don't know where you are, but it is beautiful weather here. I believe this is some of the info. I don't have my glasses. A 1981? I'm gonna have to get some glasses and make sure of that. But it looks like it's got a 10-speed in it. It has a key, so it should crank. I'm assuming it's got a Cummins in it, which will make it easier to start. But what's interesting about this truck is they've cut the frame here, and they added a Mack Camelback suspension on it. 38 rears. I guess it probably had no telling what it had. Probably just had a Rayco suspension under it, giving them a little bit of trouble. And they had this old Mack, which we've done that before. We had a GMC Astro one time that we put a set of Mack rear ends under it that come out from under a concrete truck. You could hit a curve running 70 miles an hour with a load of logs, and it wasn't gonna lean either way. But now it would knock your false teeth out when you hit a bump with that thing. But it never gave us any more rear end troubles. I'm not saying they was 44s. They was probably the next size up. It was just a huge rear end under those. Suspension. This thing's got some good tires. I know the tires are rotted or dry rotted, but that's got some real good tread on it. But let's pop this hood open and see what this has got in it. Damn. Yeah, it's a Cummins. You seen it had a dog box in it, so most of that engine's sitting back to the back rather than the front. This thing would turn around pretty easy. Short wheelbase. Let's see if we can. There's the. I'm assuming that's the oil checker tube going up through there. The oil stick, oil checker. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go get my glasses and I can read some of this on this engine and give y'all a little bit of information about it. It looks like there's a speedometer cable off. Let me go get them. Well, I don't have my glasses with me, so I'm gonna let Jacob be my eyes. Jacob, right here on this, it may have the date of manufacturing on there.
January 19th, 1981.
A 1981. Does it have a model like a S something like I was trying to read off the side?
F2275.
An S22 F as in Frank?
F.
Okay. A 2275. 1981 model. Ronald Reagan was our president going into 1981, I guess. That's been a long time ago. I don't know how long it's been sitting here, but you can tell it's been sitting here a long time. Even though there's not a lot of undergrowth around it or through it, it's right here in the man's yard. As you can see, it's well kept. But it's been sitting in here. It's been sitting here a minute anyway. Let me get the old fuel checker here. See about the fuel in it. You remember the last ones we got a hold to? This is going to be the third one about yeah. I can hear it in there. It sounds like it's got plenty in it. Oh yeah. That thing right there is making fuel. Let's see if we can find the oil. I'm assuming batteries are right here. Watch yourself just in case they got some critters in here. We'll get something and beat on that in a minute, see if we can't get it to pop loose. I'm gonna go get a piece of metal and see if I can. This should persuade it. Alrighty. That's good. That's gonna be the ground. That's easy to find. Alright. See if I can find the oil stick in this thing. Well, I told Jacob, I said, there's a tube, see if you can find out where the oil's coming out of, and he pointed right there. If it'd been that rattlesnake, it would have bit me. Oh yeah, look at that. This thing's making oil. All right, we got good oil. We got fuel. See if I could just step up in here without. I'm pretty sure they don't have any water in it. This cap's got it locked. You know what? I'm not gonna worry about that. We're not gonna run it long enough. We may wind up needing these. Let me get a. See if we hear anything. Uh-oh. We got contact. Well, it's not locked up. It's popping somewhere. I'm gonna have to fool around with this connection back here, so try that. Right there it is. It's on this ground. Let's try that. Nothing? Well, all right. That's going to be aggravating. See if this helps any. See, gear. No wonder. Did it move? Did it look like it kind of moved? All right. I do not like the way this is set up on my truck. That jumping off. I have been going to change that, and of course I hadn't. See if we get it. Something there. That helped a little. That helped a little bit. That's not a bad looking air filter. Let me get some ether. Doing something. I'm gonna let that battery charge up a little bit. And you know, we're not just out here trying to see if it will start. I do have somebody interested in this suspension. The other two Macs that I bought, I think he wants the rear end to put in the back of the red dump truck. If you haven't seen that video, it's on Hamiltonville Farm. The guy from Haiti has bought it, and he wants to put some stuff in the back and haul. And I believe he wants this suspension. That's really what I'm doing here. Not only, you know, just to see if we can get the engine cranked. I'm not sure he's interested in this Cummins engine or that little old 10-speed transmission, but he may be. But I know he's probably interested in that bogie. I don't know what we'll do with the engine. I don't know if we can buy it cheap enough that we can separate it and come out. I don't know. We're just going to see how it runs. I'll try to see how it runs and then decide what we need to do and how we need to do it. But as we was talking about earlier, you can tell how the engine sits kind of inside the cab, and I guess that's shorten up the wheelbase where to have a quicker turn, shorter turn radius. It probably had a set of little old Rayco suspension under it with a set of small rear ends. It could have come out as a freight truck. I don't think it was probably a single axle truck, could have been, but more than likely it was just a light duty truck, and somebody down the line added that to it just to beef it up a little bit. I don't know what they did with it. Usually they would have pulled logs with it if they'd been around here, but who knows? I don't even know what the story is behind it, where he got it from. Maybe he'll know it. When I go in there and talk to him and tell him we're through, I'll ask him if he knows any history about this truck. But it does say something farm. I wonder is that Hamiltonville Farm? I doubt it. But we're going to give it just a few more minutes charging up and see if we can get it spinning enough to start it. If not, we can go get a battery and come back, which won't be any time for y'all, just maybe 1 second. But we're going to try to crank it, start it with what we got. Well, it had a Georgia sticker in 90, and it was sold out of Dothan, which isn't too far from here. All state truck sales. And it's been quite a while because it had a 205 area code. That's, I think, when all Alabama had 205. So that's been several years ago. I don't know how long the 205, I don't know how long it's been since Dothan, or where we're from, has got the 334, but it's been a minute. Something else, when I was hooking these jumper cables up, I noticed my bottom pulley. I don't know if you can tell that wobbling. That shouldn't be wobbling like that. I got to go get that checked out. I don't know if that's my goodness. I know it's not supposed to be doing that. I'm gonna have to go get that seen about. See it on the bottom? See how it's wobbling down there? Maybe we can make it back home. It's always something. You know, I thought about those belts. I got 220-something thousand miles on this truck, and I thought about, was it time to change that serpentine belt? And I just was looking at it real good, and that's when I noticed the pulley down there shaking. Looked like me riding down a dirt road, jiggling. But I'm gonna get it checked out. What I have learned over the years in my age is there's no use to keep on fighting something like this. Those batteries need charging. I probably need a third one in there. It's got to spin over real good because it's not spinning enough. It's not spinning fast enough to start. We can all tell that. So we're probably gonna leave, go get some batteries to come back, which, like I told you before, it won't be but just a second for y'all, and see if we can't get this thing started. Well, it's the next day. I got a battery charger last night, and I charged these two batteries up. Well, actually, one of them's 100%, one of them's 80%. I got started late and I fell asleep while that one was charging, and this morning, 3 or 4 hours, it got it to 80. Then I stopped by our friends at Coven and Heavy Duty and got another battery. These are actually where these batteries come from, is Coven Heavy Duty, but these 3 batteries should sling that pretty good. I talked to the man to let him know we was back out here this morning, the owner. He said he bought this at auction, drove it from auction, and parked it there. Didn't do anything with it at all. And he can't remember how many years ago, but he said it's been years ago. It's been sitting here, not started. So this could be a more of a challenge than I thought it was, but I was hoping it had a compression release on it so it could spin quicker, but I couldn't find one yesterday. I'm gonna look a little bit further, harder for it today, but we got 3 good batteries and we should be able to spin it fast enough to do better than we did yesterday. Let's see what we can get done. But it had a nice heavy duty battery box on it, that's for sure. Let's see, all these are 950 cranking amps. Yeah, let's put the, okay. Just set that one down, Jacob. We'll put this one at the end that those are fit in. This was the negative, and that's the positive. So that'll go like that. I wonder where that. We'll need to see if a concrete close by. We'll get that one hooked up. Positive, positive. Positive. All right. Now let's get these like that. All right, let me get something to kind of put that down. If we can get this one on there, we'd have pretty good connection. There we go. All right. I did look on line last night about this S series, and these are medium size trucks that International made from like 77 to 91 models or something like that. This is a 81 model. He don't know anything about the rear end, the back half of this being changed out. Like I said yesterday, this could have been a single axle, but more than likely it was just a light duty twin screw truck that they used around town as a freight truck, and whoever bought it had farm on the side of it, so they probably had an old Mack sitting out there and rear ends went out of it, and they just mated this Mack rear end to this International, and actually had a good setup right there, heavier duty rear end than what they had. A 9/16, that'd make it a lot easier to work with. But my man's mostly interested in the back half, in the back section, because he buys so many Macks, and I think he'd be interested in that. I'm not sure if he's interested in the Cummins or not. I'm gonna take a picture of it running if it runs, or send to him. I do have an uncle that was hunting a power unit for an old sawmill of his, and he might could take this right here and make it work. All right, let's get this hood over. Look at there, I think that's the plug-in right there to keep it, when you plug it in cold weather, keep the engine warm. That's pretty neat. Don't know that I ever seen that before. I was gonna look right here and see if it was any. I'm not gonna look right there. I was gonna look in the glove box and see if there's an old tag receipt. Let me get the ether. Let's see if that helps us any better on the engine, spinning the engine over. Jacob, you want to get up there and turn the key on and hit the starter button, and let's see if it's spinning better, and I'll keep the ether out here going. You got the key on? Let me see if I hear it switching on. Turn it on and off. Honestly, I don't hear anything clicking, but we'll spin it over and see. Just switch it on and, okay. Go ahead. Come on. Put too much ether in it. Oh, I wish this thing had a compression release on it. Yeah, it's got a... What I'm looking for is that solenoid. See, the good thing, if it wasn't the engine wasn't sitting so far back, that injector pump would have usually been about right here, and you could have easily had worked in there the way they got it sitting back inside the cab. It's difficult to see what it is I'm looking for, which is a solenoid. There's a wire going to there's a wire. But I did not hear it click at all when I switched it on and off. See if you hear a click when I turn it.
slightly, maybe something. The main thing I hear is you turn the key.
Yeah.
But I slightly heard something.
Look at that. Look at that. Woo, Shrapnel. Look at that. God, there is no telling when the last time this thing was started. I guess it had water. I guess it had some water on the exhaust inside because it blew so much water out of it. Yeah, it's smoking. I didn't realize that tire was that hot to get some smoke off of it. That is so unbelievable. Got it on the camera, Andy. Wow. Guys, that was surprising, honestly. This thing runs so smooth. Been sitting here for
It's still kicking it out. It's still
Is it?
pouring. Yeah.
That is so amazing. Yeah, there's the RT 110. Wow. Y'all are just as surprised as I am. Y'all heard the way that thing was run. I'm telling you, I didn't fool with the fuel filter. We sprayed just a little bit of ether in there. Not much, you can tell. These old Cummins is tough. I don't care what they say, them Cummins is tough. Sounds good. It's even charging. I believe it's charging because that's up to 13.3 and I believe that's charging. I don't know why I'm looking at it. Well, let's see if it'll move. Woo. No. I'm not building in here. Woo. Clutches, I believe the clutch is out. Dang. Yeah, the clutch is out. That's why it choked down. Well, doggone it. Well, shucks. It ain't gonna come out of gear. Probably gonna have to tie a chain to it. How about you, driver? Probably gonna have to tie a chain to it and pull it backwards and take that pressure off that clutch is what's happened. Well, that's disappointing. But that's all right. That's been a lot better than the last Max we was on, but it runs good. Clutch is bad. I don't know if we broke. I don't know if the center of the clutch broke out. Probably what's happened because it has no clutch. It don't have a clutch in it. I believe I can take a chain and probably pull it back a little bit. We can try that while we're here. See if we can get it into neutral. But we can do that later. If we can see we get it bought to load it, we can go from there. No, I think what I do, Jacob, I think I just hook that chain to it and pull it back and see if we can get it out of gear. Well, it blowed some mud all the way over here. I'm just saying that was on top of one of those pistons and it blew it out like that. I don't know that much water would have been in that exhaust, but hey, it could have been. Either way, it was raining here for a minute. But Jacob, let's truck my pickup to it and see if we can pull it back a little bit, because when I tried to go forward, it's just, it won't let me get it out of gear. But I'd like to start it back up and at least video it starting on my phone where I can send it to the man and let him see how the engine runs. So if you'll pull the truck up. All right, tighten up on it. All right. Just get a little, you ain't got to spin it, just give me a little pull. Okay? I just broke the forks off of it. Jacob, I just messed up the forks on it. Come on back. When I was moving, I pushed the shift hard and I felt it in there give way on the shifting fork. Probably just done a lot of damage to it. Well, I tried to take some of the pressure off by pulling back, and when I went to push it, I could feel it give in the transmission. So I don't know just exactly where I just got that play from, but I could feel it giving. There's where the top of the transmission, there where the shifter goes into the transmission. But it runs good. I think this is mine and Jacob's third truck, and finally got one of them to start. I really had my doubts there for a minute, but it fired right up once it got that water out of there. I guess that's what was making it go so far and quit, and then the pistons would push the water out. S Model International. Let's pull this hood up and let you look at that engine and see if it says like 290. It'll give the engine right here on the tag, Jacob. It's gonna give you some information on that tag right there.
The model's NTC 300?
Yep. NTC 300, guys. Do you have a manufacturer date on there? It
It's kind
probably,
of smudged up here. The only thing I see is 1981.
that's it, 1981, just like the truck. NTC 300. If you're looking for one, we got one right here. I hate that we didn't get it to move, but that's okay. We got it started. I think the N stands for naturally air intake with a turbocharger. Aspirated, I think the N is naturally aspirated. Fellas, I might have that wrong. You could correct me if you're still watching the video. But listen, we appreciate y'all watching. We'll keep you posted on what we do with this. We might have this thing loaded with the Max. We might not. We might come out here and cut the rear end out from under it. At least we do have some video of the engine running once we get it edited that I can send people and they can see how good it ran and sounded. I would like to run it longer, but we just didn't. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all come back and remember, don't be wily.